As said, nouns can take on several structures. We can have a noun that looks like a single word noun. It could also be a phrase. The last possible structure that we can attribute to nouns is that they can look like clauses. To begin, what are again the requirements of a clause to be called a clause? A clause can just be considered a clause if it meets these three requirements. The first requirement is that it should be a group of words. Second requirement, in that group of words, there should be a subject and a predicate. Lastly, there should be a thought in that clause, which we could describe as either complete or incomplete. If the thought is complete, we call it an independent clause. If the clause is incomplete, we call that a dependent clause. Now we talk about, I'll put this account on Spotlight. So we go back to this style. We are now going to talk about noun clauses. Please be reminded that noun clauses are dependent clauses. They're all dependent clauses, and each noun clause is called a dependent clause, each noun clause relies on a subordinating conjunction. To where there are just so many. There are so many available subordinating conjunctions in grammar. Sometimes these subordinating conjunctions could probably be more than the coordinating conjunction. Yeah, I think there are just more subordinating conjunctions than coordinating conjunctions. But the number won't matter, because what we're after for noun clauses in terms of their subordinating conjunctions would be the usual relative conjunctions. What are these relative conjunctions that we are talking about? We have words like who, which, that, when, where, whomever, wherever, whatsoever, whatever. These words are commonly used by the time we create what we call as a noun clause. Just like all other nouns, noun clauses take on the same function that we attribute to nouns. Let me erase something for a while. Let me erase this. Let us start with a noun clause that functions as a subject. A noun clause which functions as a subject. So let's have this. Let's assume that this is your sentence. What I want from you is your time. From this sentence, we can actually identify our subject. In this group of words, what is our subject? Alay. What is the subject of the sentence?
What sentence is this one?
This one. What I want from you is your time. What is the subject of the sentence, Alay?
Time.
What is being talked about in this sentence?
What I want.
What I want? Give me the complete one, but it starts with there, Alay. The complete one is what I want from you. That is the subject of this sentence. And let's examine it. What makes up this subject? So this obviously is not a single word subject. This is a group of words. And let's try to determine if this group of words is a phrase or a clause. Does this group of words, this one, the one underlined in green, does this group of words contain a subject? Alex.
Yes.
And what is that subject, Alex?
I.
I, correct. This is the subject. Does it contain a verb? John Buntag. Still in this group of words underlined in green. Does this contain a verb? John Buntag.
Yes.
What is the verb?
Want.
Want, correct. This is the verb. Therefore, this group of words now qualifies as a clause. It's not just a phrase, because a phrase is a group of words that does not hold any subject nor any verb nor a predicate. By definition, a predicate is a verb. So please do not be surprised if from time to time I'll use the term predicate, I'll also use the term verb. Because again, a predicate by simple definition is a verb. A simple predicate by definition is a verb. So what we have here in this group of words is a subject and a verb. What word did we use to start or begin this group of words? Honey Claire. Honey Claire is taking time. Chelsea, what word did we use to begin this group of words?
What?
You have the word what. And to what part of speech does the word what belong? It could either be a pronoun or a conjunction. So as a pronoun, you can call it an interrogative pronoun, or it could also be a relative pronoun. But in terms of how this is used in the sentence, it is not anymore an interrogative pronoun. It becomes a relative pronoun, or basically we call this a relative conjunction. A relative conjunction, which we can also term as a subordinating conjunction. So that's our noun clause. And this noun clause, all of it functions as the subject of the sentence. Take note that earlier, my question was, what is the subject of the sentence? The answer here is, what I want from you. That's the answer. If you answered I is not the subject of the sentence, rather it's the subject of the noun clause. This is a noun clause, people. Obviously, it's a noun clause because it functions as a subject. Again, the subject of the sentence is what I want from you. The subject of the noun clause is I. What is the verb of the sentence? John Abiliana, what is the verb of the sentence?
Want.
Verb of the sentence.
Is.
Correct. The verb of the sentence is. But the verb of the noun clause is want. And again, why is there another verb? Because we have a noun clause, a clause that is supposed to contain a subject and a verb, just dependent in its nature. Questions? Let's have another example. So let me erase this for a while. Erasing. Right clause. Next sentence.
Have answers without context. For example, you answer over instead of getting those.
So here's your sentence. The team appointed whoever comes early the timekeeper. Again, the team appointed whoever comes early the timekeeper. What is the subject of the sentence? I'd like to ask Carlos. So that's your sentence. The team appointed whoever comes early the timekeeper. Carlos, what is the subject of the sentence?
Team.
Team, correct. Subject is team. What is our noun clause in this sentence? I'd like to ask Rain.
Whoever comes early.
Correct. Our noun clause is only this group of 3 words. Whoever comes early. Let's examine that noun clause. Is it a group of words? Obviously it is. So let's label it for a while as the noun clause. Okay. It's a group of words, yes. What is the subject of this noun clause? I'd like to call, or is there a subject that we can find in this noun clause? I'd like to call Juliana.
Whoever.
We have actually a subject. It may not be the same as the sentence earlier where the subject is really stated as I, but still in this sentence, we have a subject and that subject is represented by the conjunction whoever. So this takes on the role of being the subject of the noun clause. And what is the verb of the noun clause? Leisha.
Comes.
You have comes. So per definition, per requirement, this really is a noun clause. And obviously, this is an incomplete clause. I mean, just read it by itself. Whoever comes early. It sounds incomplete. That is why the thought is not yet completely there. We call this noun clause a dependent clause. What is the role of this noun clause in the sentence? What is its function? I'd like to call Kiana.
Sir, the early?
The function of whoever comes early.
Whoever. Wait. Listen. Direct.
The original sentence is the team appointed whoever comes early the timekeeper.
Direct object.
Correct. This is a direct object. Why is this a direct object? Of course, the team appointed who? The answer is whoever comes early. So this is a direct object as it answers the question who. And then we proceed with another noun. What about timekeeper? What is the role of timekeeper? What is the function of timekeeper in this sentence? I'd like to raise this. Angel.
Indirect object.
Is it the receiver?
Oh, wait. The team appointed. Of the whole sentence, sir.
Yes, yes. Here's a clue, Angel. Can this direct object be the timekeeper? Can this
Yeah.
person, whoever comes early, be the timekeeper?
Yeah.
Can that timekeeper be this person?
Yes.
Therefore, timekeeper is
Complement.
complement, correct. Let's start at I'd like us to start with that. Timekeeper is a complement. And it is a complement to the direct object. Therefore, this is what kind of a complement? Angel.
Objective. Complement.
Objective complement, correct. In
Sir,
fact,
I have a question.
yes, Juliana.
What's the difference between an appositive and an object complement or subject? Yeah, something like that.
the objective complement is a complement to the direct object. And a positive is not a complement at all. That's a clear definition. Anyway, we'll go to the appositive later on. We'll go to the appositive later on.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Ano, let's have a single word now. I think it's better that we really clarify that one out now, especially that I also saw an answer from John. He thought at first that this is an appositive. Okay, let's try to have another example, ha? An example outside of a noun clause. An example which does not use a noun clause, where you have an appositive, a direct object, and an objective complement. Okay. So here's your sentence. I called my friend Diane the queen of my life. What is the subject in this sentence? Rain. I, correct. This is the subject. What is the verb? Chelsea? No. Let me call someone else. Let me go to the list. What is the verb here, Thea? Called, correct. Who did I call? I called whom? Neil. What's the answer?
My friend.
Friend, correct. Since the word friend answered the question whom, then what is its function? Nina? No. Nina, is it alright? Is your audio fine?
Can you hear me, sir?
Faint lang.
No.
Okay, that's better. Since the word friend, Nina, answered the question whom, so what is the function of friend?
Okay, but I can only rationalize
Ninya?
everything that I am in my mind right now. Everything flies when I saw that, like I am happy with it. So,
Direct object.
It's the direct object, correct? Can that friend, let's skip the name of Diane for a while. Can that friend be the queen of my life? Juliana?
Yeah.
Can that queen of my life
Yes.
be the friend?
Yeah.
Therefore, anyway, I'll just underline queen because of my life is a prepositional phrase. Queen is an OC. Because the word queen refers to friend. In the same way, the word friend refers back to queen. What about the name of Diane? What is the role of the name of Diane? John Abiliana.
Positive.
An appositive. The role of the appositive here is to give a specific detail of who this friend is. It provides another information, a detailed information of the identity of that friend. But of course, in the concept of reference, the case is the same as that of the objective complement. But I hope you can see the difference now in terms of how they've been placed. I saw a comment earlier coming from, I think it's from Kiana. So if it's in a positive, you can remove it, and OC you can't. The answer is yes. The reason why we have unnecessary appositive or an unnecessary appositive. Once the please be mindful of this. Once the appositive is placed between commas, the appositive is an unnecessary appositive, meaning at some point you can take it out because the sentence may live, but the OC will have to remain there. It can't be taken out. Juliana, does this clarify your question? Does this answer your question?
You studying in front of the TV.
Yes, sir, but it can also have without commas, sir.
Yeah, you can also keep, if the author deems it that the comma be taken out, that's what you refer to as a necessary appositive. Still an appositive. It's just that it's in the nature of an appositive to be either necessary or unnecessary. Different from that of the objective complement. The reason why we really have a sentence pattern as S, T, V, D, O, O, C. Can you still remove it or not? What do you mean, Alex? What do you want to remove, Alex?
If it's necessary, ba, sir? The
I mean,
necessary a positive.
what what will be the appositive?
Yes, sir.
If the again if the appositive is a necessary appositive, you do not remove it. The author does not want it to be removed. But if you find in a sentence commas, and between those commas is the appositive, the author is impliedly telling you that you can take that appositive out. It's an unnecessary appositive. So I think hopefully that clears things out. Juliana, questions?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure thing. Wait, let's proceed now to other possible functions a clause can take on. Right, clause.
Physics lessons.
This one.
This is the first time that Carl joined the session. Kailan Carl? Magalis. The problem really on the end of Carl is internet connection. We cannot blame some of you guys for those course. That's not good. It's a big connection. The things that will be blamed later is how you're going to do something about it. You will just
So
accept.
I hope this is not true to you. It's all right, Lorraine. Go, Lorraine. I hope this sentence is not true to your class, huh? The sentence is.
Too many violent earthquakes.
Can everybody see the sentence?
There.
Again, I hope this is not true to your class. Whatever the idea is in that sentence, I hope it's not true to your class. So the sentence is, they talked about why the class failed. What is the noun clause in this sentence? Leisure.
Why the class failed?
You have why the class failed. One common error that I've seen before is that students would include about. How do you call this group of words? I'll mark it in red. How do you call this group of words? From about to failed. How do you call it? I'd like to ask IC.
Sir?
How do you call the group of words that begins with about up until that word failed?
I don't know.
There's a particular term to that group of. Let's start by knowing what about is. To what part of speech does the word about belong, Thea?
Is it predicate?
Oh, sorry. I see. Oh, wait, Thea would like
Predicate?
to get
Joke, sorry.
Sino na ba to? Oh my gosh. Thea, to what part of speech does the word about belong?
Preposition.
About is a preposition, correct? About is a preposition. Since it is a preposition, how do you call this group of words now that begins with about and ends with failed? We call that a Thea, how do you call it?
Prepositional phrase.
We call that a prepositional phrase. Correct.
And then the upper layer is the class. The next layer is the noun clause, which is the taker.
How do you call the object?
Inner
Talk
core.
about,
I mean outer core.
huh?
Inner core, which is the noun clause, is the class. The noun clause is divided into two.
I know.
The lower
Kiana, you are referring to talked about.
the molten rock. Upper noun clause is
So Kiana is talking about talked about. Talked about is what you call a phrasal verb. A phrasal verb, is a phrase composed of the verb and the preposition after it. For instance, look into is a phrasal verb. Talk about is a phrasal verb. And then study on, walk in is another are other examples of phrasal verbs. At any rate, we still have this preposition which comes before this noun clause. So how do you call, or what's the function now of this noun clause? Neil. Neil,
Sir.
how do you call this noun clause, Neil? What's the function of this noun clause? Take note, it comes after the preposition and it is placed in a prepositional phrase. What is the function of why the class failed? John Abeliana.
Noun phrase.
We are talking about noun clauses here, Neil. John Abeliana, what is the function of why the class failed in the sentence?
Can I say the full sentence?
You don't have to see the full sentence. Just look at, actually, allow me to justify. You don't have to look at the full sentence, John, because this is enough to tell you supposedly of what the function is of this clause.
I'm going to give the functions.
Yes.
Direct object.
John, look at what word comes before this noun clause. And look, this noun clause, John, belongs to a prepositional phrase. So how do you call this noun clause?
Object of the preposition.
Correct. It's the object of the preposition. Is that a pronoun? Neil, we're not talking about pronouns this time. Why is this an object of the preposition? So, diba earlier John said, "Sir, may I see the full sentence?" But also I pointed out there's no need to see the full sentence here because where's the DO? There's none. There's none, John. Because the sentence that could end with "they talked" is an SIV. Talked here is an intransitive verb. Diba, you can have a sentence already that said they talked, they laughed, they cried, they wept, they studied. So they talked is an SIV. To expand the sentence, we added a prepositional phrase. A prepositional phrase is composed of a preposition and the object of that preposition. The object of this preposition is a noun clause. That's why we have this longer green line to determine what the complete OP is of this prepositional phrase. Questions? I don't. There can be. No, John, there's no sentence pattern as SIVOP. The 5 basic sentence patterns are these: SIV, SLVC, STVDO. You also have STVIODO and STVDOOC. These are your 5 basic sentence patterns. And these basic sentence patterns can just be expanded by adding participial phrases, prepositional phrases, adjectival clauses, adverbial clauses. You can use these things, these phrases and clauses to expand these 5 basic sentence patterns. So we have an SIV. Technically, the sentence pattern of the sentence is just SIV. Just got expanded by the presence of a prepositional phrase. John, I hope that answers your, or that clears out your confusion. If there are questions, please don't hesitate to raise them. Before we answer now, anyway, there are all the other functions also have their respective examples. I just wanted to show to everybody that noun clauses can really function as well as clauses can really function as well as nouns. Please, if there are questions again, do not hesitate to ask. I'll now stop the sharing of the screen. And the sharing of the screen, the spotlighting of my other account. So, questions. How is grammar treating you so far? Grammar, literature. Grammar, mythology.
Mythology.
Grammar, divine comedy. If I were still to choose, still grammar. Yeah, I would still choose grammar over literature. Whatever the kind of literary material is, I'd still choose grammar over literature. What I really like with grammar is that the answers are quite definite. John, I was in the same boat as you are. I never liked grammar before. I hated it. I resented grammar before. I was so poor when it came to grammar. But I did not want that weakness to forever remain a weakness. That's why I took it as a major course in college. In the same way, impliedly, I'm now telling you, John, to take up education when you proceed to college and choose English as a major course. Whosoever is having a hard time with English, don't make it your weakness. Take education in college, choose English as your major course. So you'll be teaching mythology soon. Please get your modules now. Let's hope and pray that your scores are going to be fine.
I did answer some numbers, sir.
Why? Let's try. Let's go with FT1. In FT1, the goal is to identify and underline all noun functioning words. Take note, noun functioning words. It may not look like a noun, but if it functions as a noun, then it will have to be chosen. It's an answer. So let's begin with number 1. Dreams. To be impossible is an infinitive phrase, but it is not a noun. It may be a complement, but it is a predicate adjective, not a predicate nominative. Remember last time I think it's in the discussion last time. I wrote C, and below that together with it I placed predicate nominative. Complements can be predicate, the subjective complement can be a predicate nominative or a predicate adjective. Predicate nominatives, that's the noun or pronoun, but we are on nouns now. But to be impossible here is a predicate adjective. You should have not underlined predicate to be impossible. Don't worry, this exam is not on a right minus wrong basis. Not yet. See you in the QE. This is that kind of QE, which is better not in multiple choice. This is, I think Ma'am Zen would allow it that this exam, your QE here in grammar will not be in multiple choice. Number 2, obviously the word things. Number 3, plenty, milk. Plenty is a noun, people. Plenty is a noun. Let me prove to you. People, you look at, can you see this? Plenty. To what part of speech does it belong? Wait, don't tell me that all this time you thought of it as merely an adjective. Look at this. Look at the structure of it. It becomes an adjective when your sentences are like. Let me use the sample here. It becomes an adjective or a modifier if the sample is plenty work needs to be done. Plenty or plentiful, they tend to be interchangeable. The complete or the more appropriate form of plenty as an adjective is plentiful. But sometimes its plenty version can also be used as an adjective. But what should come right after it, should it function as an adjective, is the head word right away, the word being modified. But if you look at the structure in number 2, you have plenty modified by of milk. So you have plenty and milk. Oh, congratulations. You now realize plenty can be a noun. Number 4, running several miles or running. Running is a gerund. You should have underlined running. You should have underlined miles. You should have underlined task, as well as competition. Yes, Juliana, milk is included. You should have underlined competition as well. Number 5, humans only. Number 6, to take care of everything is the complete answer. You have what? To take care of everything. To take care of everything takes on what function? It answered what? Therefore, it's a direct object. Number 7. Yeah, number 7 now. What makes me happy should be underlined. That's the noun clause. Interest. Interest. So you have 2 answers in number 7. What makes me happy, because it's a noun clause. Then interest. Number 8, meek should be underlined. Attention should be underlined, as well as group. Number 9, challenge, students, exam. One more, whether they could pass the exam. Noun clause. Oh, why? Why is it a noun clause? People, can that challenge be whether they could pass the exam? What's the answer? Yes or no? Yes. Can whether they could pass the exam be the challenge? Yes. What is the function then of whether they could pass the exam? Predicate, nominative, or subjective complement. Number 10. Time. Recalling, because recalling is a gerund. Information. If you underline recalling those information, I will also accept it for now. Questions. You seem baffled by the answers this morning.
If it's a gerund phrase, sir, do we have to underline the gerund and the other noun separately, or can we just?
You can just underline all of them all together. Like for number 10, no, your supposed answer gerund phrase is recalling those information, so that will get 1 point. But the word information should have its different underlining.
Okay, sir.
But if you just underline recalling, I'll also consider it. And information will have its own underlining. That will still earn 2 points. But 3 points in total
So,
for number 10 for the word time.
so it's the same, sir, if we will underline everything and then underline information separately and then with the other also.
Correct, correct. But take note,
Okay.
this concern, Juliana, is just, this consideration is given only for this FT. Once you do the ST, whatever is found, if it's only a gerund, let me make that clear. At least this is recorded, so the instructions are really made clear. If the sentence only holds a gerund, only a gerund, so what you'll place is just the gerund. But what if ever it holds a gerund phrase, then what you should identify is the complete phrase. If what you have is an infinitive, just the infinitive, then you'll only have the infinitive. But if what you find in the sentence is the infinitive phrase, then it should be the infinitive phrase. Again, let me make
Okay,
that
sir.
clear. That's
Thank
for
you.
the ST. Let's go to FT2. What's in FT2? Underline the adjective which functions as a noun on each sentence. In each sentence, on the given space, give the function of the adjective noun. They knew that the sick were not yet cured. What's the noun adjective? What's the adjective noun here, Leisha?
A sick
Sick, correct. What is the function of sick there, Leisha?
direct object.
Take note, Leisha, the word sick there is found in a noun clause. So the word sick is a subject. I like seeing your reaction. I don't know, but I like seeing your reaction. So I'm glad there are only 5 items there. So again, sick is a subject because it is found in the noun clause. It's the subject of the noun clause. Number 2, don't worry though, things will become easier from there. Number 2, the cruel ones were abandoned by the humble. Alex, what's the adjective noun?
Humble.
Humble, what's the function?
Object of preposition.
Correct. Object of the preposition. Why is it the object of the preposition? Because it's found in a prepositional phrase. What's the prepositional phrase? By the humble. By is a preposition. There is someone who asked about cured. Cured is not, it's just an adjective. It's not an adjective noun. Number 3, a prize from the rich awaits those who are honest. Angel, what's the adjective here that functions as a noun?
Rich.
Which functions as?
Object of the preposition.
Correct. Object of the preposition. By the way, the checking here is this way, huh? 1 point goes to the adjective noun, another point goes to the function on the blank. If the adjective noun is wrong, automatically the answer on the blank is wrong. Sorry, again, sir. Fault. Faulty. Faulting. What is there a word as faulting? It's a gerund. It's still a noun. Still a noun. So again, it it won't make sense actually if your answer on the blank is not the same. It's not parallel to the supposed function of the correctly chosen word adjective noun. Let's go to number 4. My most hated persons are the hypocrites. Kiana, number 4. What's the adjective noun? Can I?
the arrival of the wave, which is the record, which is the detected, which was detected by the answer.
Juliana, for number 4, Juliana.
The adjective noun,
Yes.
hypocrites.
And then its function is
Subject complement.
subjective complement. Can the hypocrites be the ones referred to as persons? Yes. Can these persons be the hypocrites? Yes. Let's go to number 5. We do not recognize the weak in our group. John Abeliana, what's the adjective noun?
Weak.
Weak. What is the function of weak? John? Clue, John. We do not recognize whom? Who do we not
Direct
recognize?
object.
It's the direct object, correct. FT2 totals to 10 points. What's the total number of points for FT1? Who got perfect in FT1?
What is the name of the simple water?
Plagia's face when I asked on who got perfect. Wait, no one got perfect in FT1?
Look at the notes.
Wait, people take note. We are still on nouns.
Gabriel answered
This is still on nouns.
airphone.
Look at what we are doing. Look at what's happening now to our parts of speech. They're evolving.
The one that records
FT3, people, FT3. Noun clauses. For number 1, the venue is where everyone is expected to be present. The noun clause is where everyone is expected to be present. Take note, a noun clause begins with the subordinating conjunction. What is the function of that noun clause? It's a complement. Be sure to follow instructions. You are just supposed to write acronyms. In the ST, no acronyms. Acronyms are not allowed in the ST. No acronyms. You'll have to spell them out. Number 2, I said that I would bring the pasta salad to my cousin's picnic. Noun clause is that I would bring the pasta salad to my cousin's picnic. What is its function? Alay.
Sir,
What is the function of the noun clause in number 2?
complement. Complement?
I said what?
IDO.
It's the direct object, correct. The checking, by the way, is similar to FT2. The checking in FT3 is similar to FT2. If you got the correct noun clause, you get 1 point and 1 point for the answer on the blank. But if the noun clause is incorrect, even if the answer on the blank is correct, no point shall be given. They have to go together. The score on the blank depends on the correctness or wrongness of the underlining that you're doing. Number 1, Vince, is where everyone is expected to be present, and that's a complement. Number 3, the scientists were given an award for what they had accomplished. Noun clause is what they had accomplished. What is its function? IC.
What number is that again, sir?
Number 3, you have the noun clause, what they had accomplished. What is the function of that noun clause?
Percentage per given word. Object, complement.
Look at the word that comes before that noun clause.
Prepositional phrase.
So what is the function of the noun clause? I see. I can't hear anything from IC. Can you hear something from her?
yes.
IC, hello, IC. Hello. Alex, what is the function of the noun clause, Alex? In number 3, you have the object of the preposition, correct. Number 4, the plan that they will have to seek revenge has not been carried out. Again, the plan that they will have to seek revenge has not been carried out. In number 2, the noun clause is that I would bring pasta salad to my cousin's picnic. Number 4, the plan that they will have to seek revenge has not been carried out. The noun clause is that they will have to seek revenge. What is the function of this noun clause, Juliana?
Positive.
Correct, a positive. There was a tone of being unsure. Don't worry, the answer is correct. It's an appositive. That it will not clear before morning seems evident. The noun clause is that it will not clear before morning. And anyway, we're running out of time. I'll just mention the functions, so please listen carefully. For number 5, that it will not clear before morning, that's the noun clause. It functions as the subject. Number 6, whoever spilled the soda on the floor left in a hurry. Noun clause is whoever spilled the soda on the floor. Subject. Number 7, we sent whomever we contacted a letter of appreciation. Noun clause is whomever we contacted, and that's an indirect object. 8, serve me whatever that guy with the bib is eating. Noun clause is whatever that guy with the bib is eating, and that's a direct object. 9, they distributed what they thought was already perfect. Noun clause is what they thought was already perfect. That's a direct object. Number 10, that is what Roy wants. Noun clause is what Roy wants, which functions as a complement. Number 11, they seem to have forgotten the mission that everyone has to give a gift to the celebrant. Noun clause is that everyone has to give a gift to the celebrant, which functions as an appositive. Number 12, I believe that service to others brings joy. Noun clause is that service to others brings joy. And that's a direct object. Number 13, why no one came to the party really troubled me. Noun clause, why no one came to the party. And that's a subject. Number 14, that he had solved the math problem seemed clear. Noun clause is that he had solved the math problem, which is a subject. Last number, we were grateful for what they were able to contribute. Noun clause, what they were able to contribute, which functions as the object of the preposition. Then FT4 and FT5 are applications. So you have their encode to encode, encoding, text to texting, fan to fanning, skim to skimming, pretend to pretending, flirting, singing, cooking, stealing, calling. To their infinitive forms, to encode, to text, to fan, to skim, to pretend, to flirt, to sing, to cook, to steal, to call. By the way, there is something that I'd like to also tell you about a noun clause that begins with that. Again, the noun clause that begins with that has already a modern transformation. Let's bring our attention to number 2 of FT3. Number 2 of FT3. The structure there is you can see the word that. The placement of that to introduce that noun clause is the standard practice of English. Please do not be surprised if you will find a sentence now that says, I said I would bring the pasta salad to my cousin's picnic. If you find a sentence of that sort, there is still a noun clause because that is concealed or hidden. But that noun clause still is, I would bring pasta salad to my cousin's picnic. That cannot just be seen. Like that of, let's go to number 12. You may have a sentence that says, I believe service to others brings joy. The noun clause is still service to others brings joy. You may not find the word that, but that is still part. It's just hidden. It's just concealed, but it's still there. That's the modern practice in the use of that for noun clauses. So I bid you good luck and God bless in the ST on Saturday. You can do this. I believe in you. Have faith in yourselves, everyone. Questions? Questions? If there are questions, try to contact me lang before 8 p.m. today and tomorrow so that I can address those questions. If you feel that the question should be addressed through a Zoom call so that I'll do additional discussions with you, then tell me so that I can, but let it be done before 8 p.m. Let it be done at 8 p.m. Before 8 p.m. Before 8 p.m. If there are no questions for now, goodbye and thank you, grade 10.
Bye.
Goodbye and thank you,
Bye.
sir.